Since January 1st of 2025, I've been testing my dumbbells and body weight workout routine from my home in order to see if I can make kind of a finalized version and template for you to use in your home gyms. Do you know this can be used in any setting as well as a gym? I just built this mainly for those working out at home using dumbbells and body weight. With that, you will need 7 different pieces of equipment to match what I have here. I'm going to list them off now. Do know I have a list of the actual items I used in the description. These are just what you would need in general. First off, you need some kind of dumbbell. I prefer adjustable dumbbells in order to take the plates off and use them for body weight weighted movements later. Next, you will need an adjustable bench in order to do a couple of the exercises using the dumbbells and body weight. Third, you will need a way to do pull-ups and dips. Mine's combined into one item, so it's actually one piece. But you will need something in order to do pull-ups, dips, and really even inverted rows as well. With that, you will need a backpack in order to put the plates inside of it to do weighted body weight movements. Now, you can just use regular plates. I like to use the plates that come with my adjustable dumbbell set. Next, you will need a step platform. Mine is literally called the Step, allowing me to get about 4 inches off the ground. That way, I can do things like calf raises and heel raise squats a bit more effectively, as well as some other exercises. The next item is a bit unique as it uses my dumbbells as a barbell setup called the Hyperbell. Again, I attach my dumbbells right to this bar in order to make a barbell from home. And the last item I recommend is some type of wrist strap in order to hold the dumbbells for certain exercises. But please note you don't need all of these pieces of equipment. Some are just extra. They're just what I use in order to feel like I have the best setup for my home gym. Now, I do lay out this workout throughout these 7 days of the week. So my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are resistance training days, where Tuesday is a resistance cardio day, and then Thursday is just a straight cardio day, and then Saturday, normally some type of mobility and yoga, and then Sunday is just a full rest day. So day number 1 of the workout routine starts on a Monday for me and is a resistance training day. Now, there are a total of 5 main exercises with 1 warm-up in this workout. Starting off with the warm-up, I'm just going to do body weight squats. I do like to take out the step platform and have my heels raised just to practice that movement, but from there we're doing about 5 reps before jumping into the first exercise. And the first exercise is going to be the heel raise squat. If you don't have a way to raise your heels, that's fine. Just do squats in general. I am also using the Hyperbell by J-Flex to put the bar over my shoulders as you would with a standard squat, and then again doing the heel raise squat. You should feel this a lot more in your quads with this setup. Next up, I'm going to move over to the inverted rows. So you will need some way to do this at home, whether it just be parallel bars or like I have with the 1-2 Fit pull-up tower. Now, I will personally take my backpack with some of the weight plates and make this heavier so I have a weighted inverted row. But if you're not at that level yet, feel free to just do them normally. I also have the step platform to keep my heels a little higher off the ground so that I'm more parallel to the floor in the starting of this exercise. The next exercise is the chest dip, using the same equipment we use for the inverted rows, but again, this time we're doing the dip exercise. So I like to also lean a bit more forward on this to get a bit more activation of the chest, and I'll also add a backpack with weight plates in it to make it a bit harder. Now, the fourth main exercise in this workout routine is going to be the lateral raise. Now, I do this standing. Feel free to sit down and do this as well, but we're just going to take dumbbells and then just do the normal lateral raise. Don't let the dumbbells go all the way down by your side so there's no tension. Stop a bit before then so that you're always keeping tension throughout the entire exercise range of motion. Now, the fifth exercise of day 1 is the standing calf raise. I am going to take the Hyperbell and attach my dumbbells to it, putting it up over my shoulders, and then also taking the step platform in order to get a bit more range of motion while doing this exercise. You'll notice in the video that I am up against a wall as well. This just helps with a bit more balance, as if you're just freestanding there, it can be a little tough. So I actually put my head up against the wall just a little bit in order to improve my balance. All right, that's it for day number 1. So with that, we're going to move on to Tuesday, which is my day number 2 and a strength cardio day. So for the day number 2 strength and cardio day, we have the farmer's carry as my main item here. So we just take the dumbbells, and what we're going to do is try within 15 minutes to walk 1,000 steps. You can do this any way you want. I usually track it as kind of like a sets thing on the app that I use. But your goal again is to, with the way you have, take 1,000 steps total. They can be as fast or slow as you want. I usually do the same kind of steady pace throughout. but you'll find over time you probably need a certain pace in order to make it. So again, these are just standard farmer's carries. You're just walking back and forth, put them down when you need to, track it in the app. That way you can make sure that you're getting all 1,000 steps in that 15 minutes. As soon as 15 minutes is hit, stop and see where you get. The next exercise, if you don't reach it, you try and get all the way to a higher number or even to 1,000 before raising those weights. Now, if you just don't have the space to do farmer's carries or you just don't want to do them, feel free to just go around and be active during the day. I like to just do walking. I do have a tracker where I can take 10,000 steps. That's kind of my default fallback for this, is that I just try and get about 10,000 steps in my day if I don't have time to put in the farmer's carries. So with that, we're going to jump into day number 3, which is going back to a resistance training day. Now for the warm-up, I like to just do push-ups, and I do about 5 of them, just focusing on the tempo mostly and the form before going to the first exercise of the main workout. And the first exercise of day number 3 is the seated overhead press. So you will need the adjustable bench with the bench pretty much almost at 90 degrees. And then you will also need dumbbells for this first exercise. Now the goal here is just to keep form and then push overhead as long as you can before that form breaks down, marking it where you need to in this workout. And once you wrap up the overhead press, we're jumping into exercise number 2 of the plan, which is the Romanian deadlift. Now with the Romanian deadlift, you will want to have some wrist straps for this, just because we don't want the grip being a factor in this as much. If you're using lighter weights, it might not matter that much, but as you get into heavier and heavier weights, you will want some kind of wrist straps so that you're more focusing on the glutes, hamstrings, and quads in this movement than trying to hold on to the dumbbell. So just a little bit of a tip there, I'd probably do that. You can of course also use the hyperbell if you want, but I like to just kind of grab the dumbbells themselves, wrap the wrist straps around, and just do the standard Romanian deadlifts. So the third main exercise of day number 3 is going to be the pullover. Now with this exercise, you will want adjustable bench and the dumbbells for this. Now I like to set up the bench 1 notch below parallel, that way we get a little bit more range of motion and keeping tension on the muscles throughout. Normally, if you go too far over your chest, you will lose all the tension once it reaches straight vertical down with gravity. So you really want to focus on, as long as you can, keeping tension throughout the range of motion in this exercise. And also, if you place the angle too low, you will have the dumbbells hit the ground too early. So that's why I go just 1 notch below parallel. Now moving on to exercise number 4 of day 3, we have the seated incline biceps curl. Now I don't put much of an incline on this one, just a little slight one. Some people put more. I just don't need one very big for this one to work. And of course you need adjustable bench and dumbbells in order to perform this. Now for me, I personally like to just curl the dumbbells up. Feels a bit better for me when doing it seated, so see if that works for you a bit more. So some of you might even start from more of a hammer position and go into what's called a supinated position, or your palms up. I kind of still have mine more supinated at the start, but I will twist them just a little bit as I raise my hands up during that range of motion. All right, and the final exercise for day number 3 is the good old crunch. Now you can do this straight on the floor, but I like to take out the adjustable bench and set it to a slight decline angle. Again, I don't like going all the way down with it. I do a slight decline. That way I can really focus on just the core contracting versus me trying to throw myself up to the top, kind of cheating the reps. Now, if you need additional weight, feel free to take some of the weight plates from whatever dumbbells you are using. Again, I like adjustable dumbbells, so it's easy to do this. But with that, you can just take the dumbbells or the plates and hold them in front of you in order to have a bit more weight. All right, now moving on to day number 4, we have our main cardio day. This is an optional day, so you don't have to do it, but if you'd like to, it is in there as well. So I've added 3 options that I like to pick from, so you just pick one of these if you want to do them. The main one is a 1 mile run. You just basically see how fast you can do it each and every time. The second one would be bike or spin. I like about 3 miles for this. Feel free to do more of this, by the way, if you want. These are just what I'm picking as like a standard set. And then if you don't want to do either of those and just want to be active, again, we fall back to our 10,000 steps. If you just don't want to do one of those 2 items, there are other cardios, but I like to just kind of focus on the run or bike option as they are the easiest for most people. All right, and with that, we are moving on to the final resistance training day of the week, and that is going to be day number 5. And to start off day number 5, we have good old body weight pull-ups. So get your setup, make sure that you have an option at home in order to do pull-ups. If you don't have this, feel free to just do like inverted rows as your warm-up as well before jumping into exercise number 1. And exercise number 1 is going to just still be pull-ups. So if you're sticking to bodyweight pull-ups, fine. If you're like me and want to add some weight plates in a backpack, feel free to go ahead and do that. So that's what I do as my main exercise for exercise number 1 on day 5. Moving on, we are going to be doing push-ups. Now, I personally like to do this with my 1-2 Fit bar and the handles they have. You could also use something like the Perfect Push-Up Elite I also have as well, which is kind of nice. And I also like to raise my feet a bit off the ground. So I'd use the step platform to actually stay off the ground completely. You can kind of play the floor as lava, and once your knees hit the floor, you lose. So you just see how long you can go before you have to put your knees down and save you. Exercise number 3 is my least favorite exercise of all time, and that is the Bulgarian split squats. Feel free to do normal split squats if you want, but I like to do these with the bench as well as the platform. Little dangerous to set up at start, but you get used to it over time. My front foot is on the step platform, with my back foot is on my adjustable bench. It's just flat at the time, but just know it is on the bench. And for this, you do your weak side first, and you move to the strong side, which matches the number of reps that your weak side did. Over time, your weak side should start catching up to the strong side. That way you can kind of even it out, and you can pick whichever side you want to start with. And also know that once you complete both sides, that counts as one full set. So you do one leg, then the other leg, that counts as the full set before moving on to set number 2 or 3. All right, and now exercise number 4 is the triceps extension. I normally call these skull crushers because that's what they kind of fall into, but I like to actually do this with a slight incline in my bench. That way, if I get stuck, I could still fall out of it or bring the dumbbells up and out of it. But I basically just do skull crushers with a slight incline bench setup in order to do this movement. However, feel free to do them on the floor if that fits you better. All right, and the final exercise of the resistance training for day number 5 is going to be the standing shrug. Now here you really want to focus on your shoulders. Try to get up and touch your ears without bending your arms too much in order to do so. So it can be pretty difficult. I like to lean slightly forward for this movement when really trying to get my shoulders up by my ears. All right, and that is it for day number 5. Let's take a look at day number 6. Now, day number 6 can just be a fun activity day if you'd like it to be, but I tend to make this one into some type of mobility training day. So here's what I do in my mobility training. Now, this whole thing lasts about 10 minutes long, as each one of these, exercises or mobility trainings only takes 2 minutes each. So the first one I like to do is a dead hang. So with your pull-up bar, whatever you have, you just dead hang for 2 minutes. Next up, we have neck rolls. So I just do normal neck rolls. Feel free to add some kind of resistance, like a weight plate or something if you feel that's better. But I just kind of do them just to kind of keep my neck nice and loose. Third, we have toe touches. So I just go and touch my toes. I like to kind of go up and down in that movement. I'm not kind of just static and reaching for them. I kind of have a little bit of movement in that. The next one would be kneeling torso rotation. So while kneeling, kind of in a lunge stance, I'll rotate one way then the other, switch legs, do that same rotation, and just switch back and forth for the 2 minutes. Doesn't have to be fast or anything, just keep a nice even pace, and you're just switching legs each time. And then the last one is just a deep squat. I usually use some kind of doorway or wall to help assist in this one. And I'll just go as low as I can in the squat and do like a little bit of movement just to kind of loosen those hips and lower body. That way I can practice as well getting into a deep squat. So that is it for day 6 with the mobility training. Feel free to just take 10,000 steps or so if you don't want to do that. But again, it takes about 10 minutes. It's pretty easy. But with that, let's take a look at our final day. Now, day number 7 is all about rest and recovery. I do absolutely nothing here. Sometimes I might just go out, do a walk. I'll hit 10,000 steps a lot on this day because I'm just doing whatever, just for fun. Maybe it's just doing a sport, hanging out with my wife, my friends, my kids, whatever it might be. I'm just doing that for the day, but not really putting any focus on a workout routine on day number 7. Now that's the breakdown I have it for the Monday through Sunday, 7 days kind of split there. If it doesn't fit perfectly for your schedule, see what you can do to manipulate it so that it fits. If you are unable to do the full workout for the week, here is what I recommend in terms of the resistance training portion. Now, when it comes to the weekly schedule, there may be days where you can't hit the entire 7-day week, especially when it comes to the resistance training days, which I think are the most important here. So if that's the case, here is what I recommend. If you can only work out one day in the week, just do the day number 1 resistance training. This way you can hit the entire body really well with just those 5 exercises. Now, if you're able to fit in another day, do the day number 3 or the second resistance training day where you're doing the overhead press starting in your workout. That way you'll round out the body very well with just those 2 days if you can fit it in. And then finally, if you can fit it as well, I recommend putting days 1, 3, and 5, which are all the resistance training days. So that way you have what I think is pretty much a complete picture of the entire body with those exercises. Now, of course, the cardio days are optional, so feel free to slot them in where you want. I just recommend on doing them on separate days, as for me, it's a lot of time if I have to put them both in one. Then also, I feel like I really struggle with one over the other if I'm combining them, so I like to have them on separate days as well. All right, so after you do about 12 weeks of this, go ahead and take an entire week off. Just allow the body to recover and fully get back to just a normal strength baseline before jumping in and doing it again. You may also want to, during this week, reevaluate the program and see if there's any variations that need to be made. For example, with something like inverted rows, maybe now you want to move over to chest supported rows using the dumbbells instead. This way, again, it just puts a different variation of the exercise, but keeps the same movement pattern you've been working on the entire time. You may also need to upgrade equipment or even do something like get heavier dumbbells depending on your skill level. Now I'm working with just 50s as I'm making this video and trying to manipulate exercises into it that work better for me. So an example there may be I used to do Romanian deadlifts, but a lot of the time now I'm actually doing Nordic hamstring curls using my bench, kind of a modified version of it. But just things like that, just to change things up. I'm still hitting the same muscle group, but you kind of want to try and keep the same pattern or recruitment pattern for those muscles as much as you can. But with that, that is the entire plan laid out with the dumbbells and body weight routine. I will list all the equipment I'm personally using. I will also have it updated on the GamerBody website with the current plan that I'm using over there as well if you want to check out the 3-day, split here, full body split that you can download and track for yourself.